What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope all you're having a great day so far. Getting into this episode of GH, two conversations that happened on today's episode that I am very happy that they had, and they touched up on it because it's no different from what I was saying last week when Cameron had that gun, and I said it last week. Had he been of a different skin color, he would have more than likely been shot. And yet I had a bunch of people come in my comments, oh, you're getting political. I'm unsubscribing because you're getting political. It's not about getting political. I'm not a political person. I don't give a shit about the politics. I don't care about that. I care about being real and having real dialogue, real conversation. So if people, if it's getting too hot in the kitchen, get the hell out of there at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Because I had somebody come in my comments talking about, oh, I'm not a racist. And I never called anybody a racist. That goes to show me where your mindset is because I never once put out the word racist. I'm just speaking on real things. And I'm glad GH brought this up today because it's real. This is what we're facing in our society today. This is what we've been facing for decades. And I'm glad Jordan and Portia had that conversation. Because what Jordan said is very true. Had Cameron been of a different skin color and her officers got into that garage before she did, chances are they would have shot him. And that's so true. They would have shot him. It's completely true. You know what I mean? So many people were in my comments talking about, well, the difference is Jordan knew him. So that tells me what you're saying is because the police commissioner knew Cameron, that in the real world, since the cops didn't know these other people, that was okay for them to shoot those people who were unarmed. Mind you, a lot of the people that were killed, they were unarmed. They were of no threat to society. They were of no threat to those police officers. Cameron is standing here with a gun pointing it at the police commissioner. That would have automatically got him shot. But yet unarmed people are getting gunned down. That's my whole point. It's not about being political, it's about being real. And this is what's really going on. And I like to be honest. I like to be blunt. I like to be real. So if people don't like it, it's like too bad. And that just tells me your mindset and the type of person you are. At the end of the day, because I like to have real talk. And this is something that's going on in our world, and I feel like too many people are not trying to talk about it, and that's the problem. Um, but I definitely agree with Jordan. Has she not shown up there, you know, and if it was somebody else, then that person would have been shot. I do agree. And I definitely agree with Portia. I feel like it is sad. Here we are in the year 2021 and we're still having these issues, these racial issues. You know what I mean? And let me tell you, and I just want to be honest. It's sad that we're still having to deal with this crap and we still have to talk about this. It's very sad. But on a little lighter note, this heifer Portia pulled out her phone and was looking at a picture of Curtis. I said, oh, hell to the no. I said, Jordan, you sitting here breaking bread with somebody that's trying to get with your soon to be ex husband. I was like, no, ma'am. Because Portia definitely still feeling Curtis. Like, she definitely still jonesing for that man. Um, so anyway, moving on from that. Another conversation that I was happy that took place was Trina and Cameron's conversation. I love it that we're having this conversation because Cameron, and I'm glad that Trina brought this to his attention because Cameron really was oblivious to what's going on around him. Like when he told her about him having that gun in his hand and stuff, and Trina told him, you're lucky to be alive right now. You're lucky that you're not in jail. You're lucky that you were not shot. And she basically summed that up to his privilege. And he wasn't understanding what she was saying because, a year ago when they were pulled over by the cops, Cameron asked the cop why was he being stopped and stuff like that. And I so agree with Trina. Had it been a minority, African American, a Latino, a Mexican American, had it been somebody of a different ethnicity, that cop more than likely would have asked you to get out your car and pinned you to the ground. She's not lying about that. That's a very real situation because we see it on the news all the time. I had a relative who went through something similar like that. You know what I mean? It's very real out here. Some people elect to ignore it. I don't ignore shit like that because it's very real. And what she said was real talk. Caucasian people do have privilege. That doesn't, now let me say this because I just want to clarify something. I'm just speaking real. I'm not saying white people are bad, white people are the devil, white people are I'm not saying that. Not at all. I've been around a lot of white people and I love it. I love all ethnicities. I love all people. Fun people, people that, don't take life too serious, don't take things too serious. We can all get along. That's what I love. You know what I'm saying? That's what I love. I just can't stand the whole racial tension. I just don't get it. It's like we're all people. Our skin tone should not matter. Unfortunately, in this day and age, it matters. Unfortunately, um, but she was just letting him know that had Cameron and Jocelyn not been in a car with her that night and she was driving, it would have been a different scenario compared to what they went through a year ago. You know what I'm saying? They were just, the cop just let them go. That would have been very different for a person of a different ethnicity. You know what I mean? So it's a hard conversation to have. These are hard conversations to have. I'm having somewhat of a hard time talking about it, but it's a real conversation that needs to be had. You know what I mean? Like it's very real. You know, very real. And I'm glad that they're talking about it and not glossing over it. You know what I mean? Like I'm happy about that. Um, she was just trying to get Cameron to realize how lucky he is that that night and how lucky he was now that he was not gunned down. He didn't have about 20 bullet holes put in his ass, which is true. You got to count your blessings at that. You really, really do. So anyway, moving on from that, I freaking loved the scene between Carly and Sam. I really did. I love that scene because Carly basically told Sam like, yeah, Jason was shot, but he's good, he's safe, he's all right. And when Sam wanted to know where Jason was, she realized very quickly Carly was not going to tell her where he was. I don't blame Carly. And Carly let Sam know why she wasn't telling him. Why she wasn't telling her. Because number one, you chose to leave Jason. You chose to get, you didn't want to be with him no more. You didn't want to be a part of that lifestyle anymore. Me personally, I don't know why people come in my comments saying, oh, well, that's her prerogative. I never said that it wasn't her prerogative. Sam has every right to look out for herself and look out for her kids. Every right. But here's my issue. She knew this lifestyle prior to having a child with this man. She knew how dangerous it was. She saw the hell that Sonny and Carly's kids went through. Did she really think her kids wouldn't suffer the same fate or close to it? This is all things that she knew before she had a child with this man. I'm not condemning her for, doing what's best for her son and what's best for her. I'm not mad at that. You got to do what you have to do. I'm not mad at that. But my thing is, don't come sniffing around later looking for information when you didn't want that to begin with. You are officially out. Carly, for the sake of Danny, told Sam Jason was okay. He's unharmed. He's good. He's safe. So that's all you need to know. You don't need to know where he is. For what? What do you need to know that information for? Why? So you can go there? No. Absolutely not. And it was a good thing that Carly put a guard on her for the safety of her and her son. Because she doesn't know if Cyrus is going to retaliate by using Sam and Danny or whatever. So she put some guards on her. Good. But that's the most that you're going to get from Carly. I don't blame Carly. You didn't want to be in this life anymore, so you're no longer in it. You're free. Go live your life. You don't need to know where Jason is. He's no longer your concern as far as like his lifestyle, whatever. That's none of your concern. I get that they have a son together. You got the information that you needed. You're not getting anything further than that. And I agree with Carly on it. So anyway, moving on from that, I'm loving the Jason and Britt stuff. I really am. I agree with Jason though. Like you cannot stay in the same place for more than a few hours because you got to keep moving around because it's the likelihood of somebody figuring out where you are is pretty high. So it's good that Jason was telling her like when you're on the run, you got to keep moving. You can't just stay in one spot. You know what I mean? You got to keep pushing. Um, and he started noticing more and more that Britt's hands were shaking and stuff like that, and he wanted to know what was going on with her. But she wasn't trying to really tell him at that point. or whatever. I feel like maybe Britt was poisoned or something. I wouldn't have put it past Peter to try to poison her, or somebody got to her or something like that. Maybe it was she was, poisoned on purpose or whatever. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? We really don't know. But it could be that. You just never really know. But Jason, I like the fact that he wants to know what Britt is hiding. Like, what medical issue is she hiding? Like, what is she not trying to tell him? Um, because he pretty much told Britt, like, you could tell me what's going on with you. You know what I mean? You don't have to hide it. Dante was kind of annoying me. I cannot stand when Dante is in cop mode when it comes down to like everybody and stuff, because he gets annoying in cop mode. Like Jason, I mean not Jason, but Michael. I don't understand why Michael would ask Dante, "Oh, is there any updates on Jason?" And stuff. Why are you asking him that? You do realize he's working this case, so why would you ask him that? Why not just, Carly already told Michael what's going on with Jason, that he's safe, he's good. That's all you need to know. It's like, why do you keep asking these questions? He's good. Until you hear otherwise from Carly, he's good. Why are you asking the person who's trying to bring him in? Like, what sense does that make, Michael? You know better than that. And what pissed me off with Dante was he had the gall to sit there and say, oh, well, Jason's considered armed and dangerous, so if you happen to talk to him, let him know that. Really, Dante? Really? You know good and well if Jason's on the run or when Jason's in some type of trouble, legal trouble, he would never involve Michael in it. He would never purposely involve Michael in that, because Jason knows that if he contacts Michael, Michael would therefore have to lie about even speaking to Jason, which would make him legally, he would be in trouble for aiding and abetting. So Jason would never put Michael in that position. Dante should know better than that. I'm like, come on, Dante, really? Like, why are they writing these people like they don't know Jason character? Like, come on now. Like, chill out with the foolishness. And Peter is continuously on his bullshit. Like this nurse that he done hired, Chloe or whatever. I feel bad for that nurse that he killed, Nurse Jennings. I feel so bad for her. Like he killed that poor woman for no damn reason. Like this man is the devil, and clearly the devil is never too tired to raise hell. Because Lord knows Peter just constantly raises all type of hell around poor Charles. Um, Basically he wants Chloe to be his eyes and ears because he was feeding her information during her interview with Maxie. He wanted to make sure Maxie hired her. And he wants her to be his eyes and his ears. Whoever Maxie talks to, what they're talking about, he wants to know every little piece of movement. Because Maxie at this point has to come up with a new plan. With Britt being out of commission, Brooklyn was trying to call Britt or whatever, and Dante was wondering why she kept trying to call her, seeing as how she's on the run, basically. And she was like, well, shit, I need an OBGYN. So Dante was like, well, it ain't going to be her, obviously. So she was sitting there talking to Willow, asking Willow about, do she know how to, take care of birth or whatever, like give birth or handle deliveries or whatever. Like if she knows how to birth a baby. I'm like, Brooklyn, please tell me you are not trying to get Willow involved in your scheme. Because I don't see Willow going along with that shit. I really don't. Like she too cookie cutter for that. I don't see. You need somebody who like ain't got no scruples. You know what I'm saying? Like you need somebody who can be underhanded. And Willow is not gonna do this. Like she'll snitch at the first sign of trouble. Soon as she's questioned by the cops the first time or questioned by Peter, she's gonna snitch. So you might want to go with somebody else. Um, and this heifer Maxie is seriously thinking that this new nurse is her ally, or she could be a potential ally. Maxie, no, 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 do not. So apparently they rented some apartment in Beecher's Corners or whatever, and she's gonna lie to Peter and say she's going for a spa day, and she wants Brooklyn to lie to Valentine and tell him she's going to Bensonhurst for a baby shower, and then they're just gonna meet up at the house in Beecher's Corners or whatever, so Maxie could give birth and hand the baby off to Brooklyn. Good plan. And she was like, well, who the hell gonna help us deliver the child? She said Bobby Spencer. I said, what? What? Unless she's using Bobby as an excuse, is she really gonna try to use this little nurse or whatever? Maxie need to open up her eyes. Like, you gotta get smarter than this. Like, seriously, know when you are being played. I mean, I understand she can't see it right now with this nurse, that, she's a plant or whatever. I get it, but you need to, like, vet people that come in your life. I'm just saying, like, seriously vet them. So anyway, Chase is in horrible condition right now. That man is delirious. Willow was getting on my nerves. Like, when her and Michael was, kissing or whatever, she stopped talking about, no, we shouldn't be doing this. We should be focusing on Chase. I said, really, Willow? You and Michael are technically together. Like, I understand you're keeping up the rules or whatever, for Chase's sake, but you're at the mansion. You're not at the hospital. Like, what are you doing? Um, so Chase is all type of delirious, talking about, he was asking where Willow was and stuff like that, and Finn was like, oh, she's at home taking care of Wiley or whatever, and Chase was like, oh, he said, we have a son, and I said, no, you don't have a son, sir. You don't have no son. Like, he was just all type of delirious. And then when Willow got there, he was asking Willow to bring their son, and I'm like, okay. Like, they needed a new antidote quickly. So basically, Finn had no choice but to ask Anna to beg Peter to give them the damn antidote. And of course, Peter was his smug little self, sitting there all smug, telling Anna, oh, you need to watch how you talk to me. And I'm like, boy, I would knock you out. Anybody got to watch how they speak to you. You ain't nobody. I hate that they got to beg and plead him for help. Like, I hate that. So, of course, he called, I guess, Chloe or whatever to get him a vial or whatever, that antidote. So it started working or whatever, and Chase's fever started coming down because his fever is pretty high. So it started to come down or whatever. And they got a whole tray full of damn vials of drugs and all this stuff. I'm like, what the hell? Is that like the whole formula that he has? Because there's no way Peter's going to give them the full antidote. There's just no way, because this works at his advantage, because he already knows once he gives them the full antidote, he no longer can dangle that carrot in their face. So my guess is he's still trying to play with them like a little fool that he is. I feel bad for Chase. Like, he don't deserve this foolishness. They need to just go ahead and tell Chase that he was poisoned by Peter. They might as well just go ahead and tell him, because he know Finn is hiding something at this point. He know it. And this fool Dante done got some type of phone call or whatever. I guess he got a lead on Britt. I'm not feeling this little Dante being back on the force so far. Like, he's starting to become that little arrogant little ass that he was 10 years ago. And I'm not feeling it at all. This was a pretty good episode though. Hit the comment section, let me know what y'all thought about it, and I'll see y'all all later. Have a great night. Peace. Well, great day. Peace.